Welcome everybody to the MPGL Season 7, Season 7 qualifiers. It is best of ones all the way through, but it is a double elimination bracket with 16 teams, so lots of best of ones to be had. I do believe we'll be covering about 8, maybe 9 of those today, depending on the scheduling. If some games end early, some games start early, stuff like that. But this is the first game of the morning, afternoon, evening, depending on your time zone. But we are in the zone. WaitZ going up against Can't Say Whips. CsW must be the favorites coming into this one, I believe, but we'll see. Best of ones, anything can happen for sure. We're of course HeflaTV, your English coverage for this one. I'm Couchor and I'm gonna be joined by Danelie. How you doing?
Pretty good today. I haven't casted in a while, so this is going to be a bit of a shock to my system, but I actually haven't seen Can't Say Whips for a while. So this is going to be a little bit interesting for me. I'm not sure if this is going to be the first or second time they're playing with Wedding Crash, their newly acquired player. Now, Wedding Crash used to be the mid player for Kingdom. So unfortunately, Kingdom's going to have to find a new mid player. But Can't Say Whips, they are playing with a full roster this time. So ignore the stand-in tag. This is a full roster for Can't Say Whips.
Yeah, that's definitely nice to see the team trying to at least find stability because everywhere at the moment teams are struggling, especially Navi getting a new player or you could say like somewhat stealing a player and 2060 days later the player leaves or just goes back to the original team, just crazy stuff. As for We Are
Yeah.
in the Zone, two players from them, Telixer and Lei, I have seen play in Join the League season number 2. Most recently they played for Erudite, so it's more or less like a so-called tier 2 team up against a tier 1 team, at least Southeast Asian standard-wise.
Yeah, I remember seeing Telixer actually, but I don't really know any of these other players. Uh, is uh, are we in the zone? Are they playing with a full roster? Do you know if this is actually going to be a couple of stand-ins, or is this a full roster for the qualifiers?
I would think it's the full roster, but you never know. Southeast Asian internet
Yeah,
and everything.
you never know. So, anyways, we'll start off with the games picks and bans so far. We've got some pretty standard stuff aside from the Bristleback. Bristleback first ban. I think this might be a respect ban. Bristleback in general is a very quirky hero, but I don't think he's really worthy of a first ban in general. He's not incredibly strong. We do see a couple of teams running core Bristlebacks, but he does fall off in the late game, and a lot of the times you realize that these games are going for longer than 40 minutes. So if an enemy team is running a harder carry, then essentially your bristleback is going to fall off in that late game against that harder carry. So I'm not sure what's actually tipping the bristleback as a first ban. It's a bit confusing.
Maybe they do have some inside information, or maybe they just don't want to have any heroes that can brawl early on, go for sustained fights, because CsW first pick Gen. I have no idea how long it's been since I've seen such a thing come out, but CSW maybe they just want to out-sustain themselves in the team fights. Otherwise, if the fights go long, Bristleback is one of the better heroes to have, just stack massive amounts of quill sprays, be rather tanky in general, but man, Gen first pick still. Wow.
I'm gonna be honest, this is not a wow factor for me. Can't say whips. They love to play the Chen. I'm not too sure who's going to be playing the Chen this. I think Godot's going to be playing the Chen this game, but he loves playing the Chen. There's a couple of other niche heroes that Can't Say Whips will play. They love to play the Leshrac. I don't know who plays Leshrac. I think Godot plays that as well. So they play a lot of quirky, you could say, not so popular heroes. They can make it work sometimes, and then other times it just kind of falls on top of its head. So we'll see how the Chen fits into Can't Say Whip's draft. I think they might pick up a Shadow Fiend with the Chen. A lot of teams, they love to pick up Chen and the Shadow Fiend together just because of the negative armor aura really bumping up the damage from the Chen creeps. So if there's going to be the Shadow Fiend pickup, we might see some elements of push coming through Can't Say Whip's draft. We're in the zone though. They want to go for aggressive heroes. They've got the Storm Spirit as their first pickup, and now they have an Ancient Apparition for the Ice Blast. So they already have a little bit of initiation potential with the Storm, and to combo that up with an Ancient Apparition. And I forgot to say Beastmaster for Can't Say Whips. They love their Beastmaster. Lots of summons this game.
Wow. Is there such a thing as too many summons though? Of course, it depends on the amount of AoE that WaitZ is gonna go for as well. At the moment, it's really only the Ice Blast, Storm Spirit, a little bit so with Static Remnants, but can't really count that as like proper AoE. Other than that, though, CsW, is it that Chains or I don't know? Do they have somebody who plays the Tinker now as well? Maybe.
Chains will play Tinker. I remember Chains. He was the main Tinker player for Can't See Whips. I think Chains will also play Naga Siren. I think those are the two popular heroes I saw him play. I think there's a couple others, but unfortunately I haven't really been keeping up in terms of
I
Can't See
just
Whips
thought
games.
immediately about like Tinker when you have a Beastmaster plus the chances so many
Well,
units to summon to or TP
yeah,
to.
absolutely. Now that you mentioned it, it is an option if they want to pick up the Tinker for Chains. It's going to be a little bit scary, especially going up against the Storm Spirit and Ancient Apparition. Like those two heroes alone, if the Storm Spirit can snowball hard enough, he can kill a Tinker by himself with the AA Ice Blast. So they could still pick up the Tinker, but we'll see what they want to pick up for Chains, because I believe Chains is their mid player. He's kind of like a Ferrari, plays carry mids.
Yeah, but the thing is now it's a little bit weird for me is that Wedding Crash, you said, used to be Kingdom's mid lane player.
Yeah.
So how does CSW now run this? Does Wedding Crash take over the like carry role, safe lane role, and just 3-4-3 and Godot should be the supports, right? 2D is off lane.
Yeah. 2D's off lane, so it's going to be either Wedding Crash or Chains playing the carry. And they could alternate it, really.
It's probably like
Maybe,
not that
yeah.
big of a difference for.
Yeah, because
You
I
still
feel
have
that
farming priority and
Chains.
everything.
Yeah, I think Chains. When I saw him, he played a lot of mid heroes, but they were also carry-oriented mids. They weren't really those traditional momentum carry mids. They were the ones that had to accumulate farm and that they would snowball to the point of no return, really. But I haven't seen Wedding Crash play before, so this is going to be a little bit new for both of us. Bit of a new experience. We'll see how it works out. They might just kind of rotate it around. We'll see. It's hard to say.
So WaitZ now, they do go for an Enchantress. It's highly likely not gonna be a mid lane Enchantress, although I think the two last times I saw an Enchantress was in the mid lane, funny enough. But up against Chen,
Really?
yeah, it's one was
Wow.
Miracle and the other one I don't remember at this point in time, but carry Enchantress, no joke. But at the
Well,
moment, hopefully we're gonna see like lots of creep domination back and forth between the Enchantress and the Chen.
yeah, they could definitely do that with the Enchantress. Well, mid Enchantress, though, that's very strange. Oh my goodness. Oh well,
You
can't say
should have
whips.
seen
They
the
picked
Miracle
up.
game. He just
Was
wrecked
it
everything.
really at the carry Enchantress?
Yes,
I've got to
it
find
was
that game.
legit.
I've got to find that game. Oh, it sounds quirky, but it sounds fun. But hmm, they've got these heroes so far, though. If you look at where in the zones draft, they've got an Enchantress, they've got an Ancient Apparition, they have a Storm Spirit. Now, if this is not going to be a core Enchantress, they're really lacking disables to go up against the Queen of Pain. They've got one mobile hero on the side of Can't Say Whips, and that's the Queen of Pain. And a lot of the times, with the Queen of Pain, if you can't burst her down, you have to disable her and try and pick her off from that point because she is still a very squishy hero. Whereas we're in the zone. If this is not going to be a support morphling with the 4-second stun, then they're going to have to try and burst down that Queen of Pain. They don't really have too much lockdown between the support and their jungler so far. So I feel like we're in the zone. They've got a quirky draft. It can still work, but we have to see what their last hero is going to be to round off the draft. I feel like they're going to pick up a core as their last hero.
Yeah, probably so. WaitZ, they do need an offlaner at the moment, I believe. Unless they really want to send like a morphling offlane, which,
Yeah.
in my experience, just isn't all that helpful. Yes, your team may still win the game, but usually it's not due to the help of the morphling there. As for CSW, they have their two supports, they have their offlane, and what we can consider to be the mid lane in the Queen of Pain. So, what cores would be nice against morphling? Considering that they have a really aggressive lineup so far for CSW, I'd expect a hero that can start fighting rather early on as well. Maybe even a Slark, although that hero is like heavily fallen off. Also, Ancient Operation is pretty nice against the Slark as well with the Ice Blast. So, maybe not the best option. And to be honest, CSW, it's not like they have to go for an aggressive hero. They could quite easily just go back towards a Medusa or something as well. Just trying to
Yeah.
get some extra late game.
Yeah, one of the more traditional late game carries. I think Medusa wouldn't actually be too bad, especially if you're going to be going up against an Enchantress. Like the creep, obviously during the late game, the creep doesn't really matter, but sometimes you just get that lucky stun and then somehow it just turns the fight around. So having a Medusa, it will be nice to kill off that creep, but for the moment, Medusa does sound pretty good. Couple of other late game carries that are available though. You did mention the Slark, but he has literally fallen off in terms of viability a long time ago. We have not seen that many Slarks being run anymore. I'm not too sure, in all honesty, what Can't Say Whips can go for. If they're going to go for one of their traditional heroes, they could probably go for a Naga Siren. But that means that they're going to have to try and make space with the current 4 heroes that they have to make space for that Naga. Or they can run that Tinker, like you mentioned. They could still pick up the Tinker, and then they can go full-on aggressive with the Queen of Pain Tinker, plus the Beastmaster Lion.
Well, it can work out, but it's probably a little bit too reliant on Tinker having a good time while at it as well. It's maybe a little bit too risky, especially considering it is a best of one. If this was a best of 3, you can just go like for any strategy you want really for game 1, test out the water, so to say. But we are in the zone. A Phantom Assassin pick. This is going to be an offlane morphling, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Couchor. Yes, it is.
No! No! Why would you start the morning like that? Why?
Oh my goodness. But this
Well,
PA though, this looks like it's going to be a pretty good PA game. There's a lot of magical burst on the side of Can't Say Whips. We cannot deny the amount of magical burst on Can't Say Whips, but PA in general, because she has a natural gap closer, it's going to be really good for her to jump on that line and Beastmaster once a lot of the initial damage has been thrown out. So we're in the zone. They've got a lot of heroes to just. All of their heroes have gap closes. They have a Storm Spirit, they've got a Morphling, they have a Phantom Assassin, the Enchantress is a race car. Ancient Apparition doesn't even have to be in the fights, he can just throw the Ice Blast. So we're in the zone. Their draft doesn't look too bad, but Can't Say Whips, they are going to go back for the Shadow Fiend. So Shadow Friend, he will be with his Chen buddy.
Yeah, you already mentioned it early on as well, just getting the minus armor synergy. Also now, Roshan is going to be so easy for them if they want to go for it. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about for CsW is just the amount of lockdown that they have. Yes, they have the Primal Roar. Lion has lots of lockdown by himself, but they really need to shut down so many heroes. Storm Spirit, probably the priority one to just disable his mobility. Then suddenly you may not have the lockdown needed to deal with the Phantom Assassin, especially should Phantom Assassin get a BKB. So I think for CsW, they have to have a slightly better early to mid game than WaitZ do.
Yeah, they really need a good head start because WaitZ, they've got their late game secured with this PA essentially. Because CsW, their late game carry for the moment is going to be chains on that Shadow Fiend. And I've seen a couple of games where teams, they run Shadow Fiend as their core late game hero, and by himself, he actually is not as hard of a carry as you'd like to think he is. He's more comfortable as that mid to early late game hero just because he's got quite a bit of damage output himself. Then you have the extra negative armor from the presence of the Dark Lord. But when it comes into the late game, Shadow Fiend is not actually that great as a carry. He's got to build some utility to really stay relevant. But we'll see how the game goes for CsW. If they get a good head start, they can definitely control a lot of the heroes on the side of WaitZ. Because PA, super squishy, she will die to a couple of burst spells from CsW. Storm Spirit, pretty much the same thing. They've just got to make sure they can lock him down first before they can burst him down. And then lastly, the Queen of Pain. That's not Queen of Pain. What's their last hero? I forgot to mention. The Morphling. I guess Morphling, it doesn't really matter. He doesn't really do anything since he's going to be that offlane Morphling.
Well, as far as offlane Morphling games go, this might not be the worst of them, just because there is a jungler on the side of CsW. So Morphling maybe gets a little bit more XP. I can't really see him getting all that many last hits still though. But to just fast introduce the lineups as well. For the side of WaitZ, we're going to have an aggressive jungler, Farewell on the Enchantress, leaving T-Elixir on the Morphling offlane with Storm Spirit, played by MMR dropping like grapes in the mid lane. Play on the Ancient Apparition, and last one is going to be Devocate on the Phantom Assassin.
Oh god, what a name. Playing on the side of the Radiant, we have CsW. In the off lane, we have 2D on our Beastmaster. In the middle lane, on our Shadow Fiend, we have Chains. On our Chen in the jungle, we have Godot. Down bottom, we have our support 3-4-3 on our Lion. And lastly, we have Wedding Crash, the newest player at CsW, playing on our... Oh, I already said Queen of Pain. Wedding Crash. Yes. What an intro.
Oh, at the moment though, Godot, he did get harassed quite a bit. Farewell did manage to steal that one creep. Now Godot, finally his cooldown comes off and suddenly Chains comes in to help out. Oh wow. Times are bad when you need your mid laner to come in and help you jungle. Or like secure your jungle somehow. But Godot, he got his creep back and within a second or two, Farewell took it away from him again.
Yeah, it's really not fun for the two junglers. Godot in particular is taking a lot of damage.
I
Actually,
think it's
he
probably
might
really
die.
fun for the Enchantress.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they even have to rotate the line now. Unfortunately for Enchantress, this troll has pulled 3 creeps. Now that's going to be Godot stealing back that troll. And Farewell, he's just going to steal it back again. So what is the shenanigans?
It's gonna time out though.
Oh, here we go. That's going to be the end of the creep. And now Farewell's, he's in a bit of a pickle. If he actually doesn't get out of there, he might die. There's a stun available. There's going to be the stun by line of first blood. So Enchantress, have fun has come to an end. Chains going to secure that nice bounty of gold.
Yeah, he was
Well,
having a little bit too much fun, or at least trying to have a little bit too much fun there. You really have to take into account the timing or the timer that it comes out when you use that enchant or dominate from the Enchantress there. Just because if you're a Chen, you take the creep, it's gonna be there forever. But from the moment the Enchantress takes it once, even if the Chen takes it back, it's still gonna have that timer on its head. And this Enchantress just underestimated that.
Yeah, but he is still going to go into the enemy jungle, so a lot of persistence coming up from Farewell. He's just there to pretty much sap Godot's EXP. Godot's still pretty low. He did not go back to Fountain to regen, and looks like he is going to do so right now. So, Farewell, it looks like they've just pretty much told the Enchantress, we want you to shut down Godot. That's all you have to do. Just sit in the jungle, steal his creep, harass him out. We don't care what you do. Just shut down the Chen. So, very interesting tactic for the Enchantress.
The thing is, if he's not all that successful in shutting down the Chen, or never mind, gonna TP back all the way home now. Not even to a tier 1 or anything, just to get a little bit faster into a jungle and... Wait. Did he just TP back in? Never mind. He's gonna go towards his jungle for a second and I was like... You're in the enemy jungle, you TP home and then you run back into the enemy jungle? What that's all about, but... Does have a stack here. Has that Wild Wing Ripper as well if he wants to use the Tornado later on, stack it once more beforehand. So he can finally start just kind of catching up as well, because otherwise you try so hard to shut the hero down and the end result will be that maybe you don't shut him down as hard as you expected to and suddenly you find yourself without any farm or levels. So he's just going to guarantee himself something as well.
Yeah, so Farewell's making the smart play. He will actually start farming this with the Wild Wing Reaper. So both junglers, they're pretty much back to normal at this stage, but CsW having a couple of disruptions just because of the intruder in their jungle. But if we take a look at the laning phase for the other lanes, though, we do have the Phantom Assassin leading by 23 CS. So he is definitely leading the charts. Whereas Queen of Pain, down bottom, he's up to 16. He's not farming as well as you would like to, surprisingly enough. I'm not too sure if it's because the Morphling has been there to harass the Queen of Pain, or if it's just been Wedding Crash trying to focus down on harassing T-Lixer instead of CSing himself. So I think Wedding Crash, he's really trying to push out T-Lixer on that Morphling to negate him the EXP from that creep wave, because the lower level your Morphling is, especially during the early phases of the laning stage, that means that he's going to have to sit in the lanes longer than he would like to soak up the EXP. And actually 3-4-3, just going to go harass out T-Lixer again. Actually blink forward Wedding Crash. They're really committing on shutting down T-Lixer. So
Yeah,
that's going to be the Morphling sent back to base.
You did point out that that harass is of course coming out of the expense of just missing out on last hits.
Yeah.
So Phantom Assassin definitely having a better time so far. I mean, 7 last hits difference between the safe laners maybe isn't all that bad, considering the Queen of Pain doesn't need that great amount of a farm to really just still get out all of her burst damage. You just need to blink in, use your Scream of Pain, use the Sonic Wave, and you're gonna be fine. Whereas if you're a Phantom Assassin, for example, you definitely need items as well to really deal the damage. Phantom Assassin maybe not as much as some carries would, just because you have the crit, so a little bit of RNG can really make up for the lack of items. But even then, Queen of Pain, I think come mid game, she can easily just catch up in farm by just participating in kills.
Lay there in the top lane. It might be a kill going to 2D. There's me the blink forward coming out from Devocate, but that's the end of the Ancient Apparition 2D. He is going to fight with this PA, but Who's actually winning? These boars are doing a lot of work. There's even going to be the Raw as well. Will they lose their PA? He has the Blink available, but there's a zip in from the Storm Spirit and 2D. He will get punished for trying to kill Devocate there. So, nice kill at first for 2D, but giving his life away and giving that kill to PA, probably not the best trade in your entire life.
Yeah, just even 1 point into Blur already making quite a bit of a difference there. Beastmaster had all of his attacks guaranteed landed. Maybe you can get the kill, but even then, just Helm of the Iron Will on Phantom Assassin. So much armor early on for just the Beastmaster to chew through. So a little bit of a misplay there. Yes, he got one nice kill, and theoretically it's not that bad to trade like that if you're the offlane, but you're already level 6. And Phantom Assassin, definitely a hero you do not want to feed. Already has the lifesteal. WaitZ, although they don't have minus armor, they can quite easily go into Roshan as well. Enchantress just get the creep or two to just tank up Roshan and do it that way. It's probably a little bit slower, but it should still be doable, I think, if they really want to risk it.
Yeah, if anything, I would say they would have to pick up a Medallion of Courage on one of these heroes if they want to go for the Roche. But I gotta admit, in the mid lane, they've rotated the Morphling T-Elixir in here just to soak up a little bit of EXP and to get some farm. I really like the rotation because the Storm Spirit, he was in the jungle with Farewells just to finish up a bit of a stack. So T-Elixir, gonna have a bit of a luxury in that mid lane, and he's gonna head back into that bottom lane, or more so Hell, with Wedding Crash. It's not a fun lane for Morphling.
So he's going for top lane, Beastmaster. Another Primal Roar, another kill. I caught it on the minimap a second too late, but 3 heroes just converging on him probably didn't last for all that long. And Beastmaster, he had a lot of gold, so I thought maybe straight out Blink, but he went for a Hand of Midas instead.
It's not too bad. 2D's actually had a pretty good lane up in that top lane. Actually, they know Lay's the creeps. They spot him out. Lay, no. Poor Ice Cream Man. Actually, no. He's still alive for that little bit longer, but Godor, I think he's just going to hold himself. He's saying, nope, I need to give that kill to my teammates. Oh, no, never mind. He stole it with the creeps anyway.
Yeah, I think the Centaur just smacked the target down there. Instant Apparition, well, does have boots at least, so that's a positive. Bottom lane T-Elixir in a lot of trouble with Wedding Crash. Unable to just really burst the Morphling down. Strength Morph, a little bit too strong, Scream of Pain. It was so little off target. And now T-Elixir, one more attack. That's all Wedding Crash needs. Does have a blink to get to safety. Devocate, he's gonna get the Stifling Dagger, but doesn't have enough vision to just follow up with that Phantom Strike anymore. So, although Queen of Pain doesn't get the kill, still manages to draw out 2 TPs. Morphling is gonna have to run all the way back home. And, well, it's not that bad, considering that they also created space to just kill the tier 1 top lane.
Yeah, tier 1 went down. 2D's still farming, so 2D's actually getting an incredible amount of farm. Would you say this could be a Necrobook game? I guess it's not probably going to be the best game because you are going up against an Enchantress, but do you think it could be a possibility just to have the Necro units to really help them push? Because you mentioned before that they've got so many summons that pushing's not going to be an issue for them. So what would you think? Would they go for a Necrobook, or do you think they're going to go for the standard Blink Dagger on that Beastmaster?
I would think it's probably going to be a Blink Dagger. It can be that Necrobook as well. It depends on how fast the Lion can get his own Blink, I think. Yes, they had a Queen of Pain to initiate, but you would want to have like one extra hero so Queen of Pain isn't all that vulnerable after blinking in. Oh, 3 for 3 does get stunned up. T-Elixir may be able to blow him up. Lion still stunned up by just multiple things, and easy kill Godot. Look at the damage he's taking just from the crits. Farewell, of course, helping out with a couple of attacks as well. They're gonna get the slow one to the nice body blocking from T-Elixir. It should be 3 easy kills for them.
Wow, CsW, they just get torn apart by WaitZ, but, well, keep in mind they rotated pretty much everybody to get the kills, but if I was WaitZ, I would definitely be happy in rotating 5 heroes for those 3 kills, because they get 1.5k gold altogether, whereas CsW, they lose a little bit, but I guess it's not too bad for them, because Chains, he's still farming in the mid lane, he's very close to his Yule Scepter, whereas down bottom, Wedding Crash, he's still farming as well, probably going to be going for a very quick Orchids. We'll have to see the Orchid timing on Wedding Crash. I don't even know if there's any components on the Courier. There's none.
Yeah, it's only Chains just going for the Yule Scepter, which he has finished up now. So Seraphine, Yule Scepter is done within a pretty nice timing. Of course, Chains is just so far ahead of anybody else with the net worth there. But one thing I don't think we even mentioned for WaitZ is that Phantom Assassin, having gone for Helm of the Dominator, Just another thing to zap away the creeps from the Chen. So between the Enchantress and the Helm of the Dominator, Chen is always going to lose 2 creeps.
Yeah, that's it's going to be the
Primal
inevitable
Roar,
case.
though, Lei, are they even going to get the kill with the Wild Axes and one more attack? Farewell tried to body block, has those Nature's Attendants. In the end, not going to be enough. And with the Hex, with the Shadow Races to follow, this time around, it's CsW to just land those 3 easy kills. Change, I do believe, got the Yule's Requiem combo to straight out kill the Storm Spirit as well.
Yeah, both are on cooldown, so great pickup on those heroes, especially on the Storm Spirit. He was the main mid hero on the side of WaitZ. He's supposed to be their momentum hero, but because he died, it's going to shut him down a little bit. Not too sure what he wants to go for, though. Does he have anything on the courier for components? No, nothing on him yet, so we don't really have any telltale signs on whether it's going to be a Bloodstone or an Orchid. Currently, the 2 most popular pickups on Storm Spirits, I think Bloodstone's actually been more popular than Orchid on Storm Spirits as of late too.
Yeah, it's probably true. I mean, Bloodstone definitely has its merits, although in this game, up against Lion as well as Queen of Pain, I would maybe prefer an Orchid. Then again, it's hard to say, because Orchid, it doesn't really give you extra survivability, so if you get Primal Roar, you are going to still be an easy target. I don't know, it's going to be tough itemizing for WaitZ in general at the moment. Look at the Morphling though. Wow. He has a Robe of the Magi. Is this gonna be Orchid Morphling coming?
I
Morphling?
highly doubt Orchid Morphling, but I think Drums is alright. It gives them extra stats. It's going to give the team extra movement speed, because if you look at WaitZ's draft, they don't really have that many heroes, or if any heroes, to carry a Drum of Endurance. I guess the only one that you could say would be the Phantom Assassin. Although in the mid lane, Storm Spirit looks like he was about to die, but he did manage to zip out in time. But there's a Hasted Chains. He just goes for a raise, but that's not going to kill off the Storm Spirit. So it was a very close call for the Storm. But Chains, no bounty for you, my friend. No bounty for you.
Yo, they might get a kill on Wedding Crash though. They get that. Oh, yeah, 4.25 seconds stun. Wedding Crash still alive. Is he going to stay alive? Nope. Not so, even with the Hand of God being used, and now it's Chain slowed down, Stifling Dagger, goes for the Requiem, nope, another Adaptive Strike. This is the power of any Morphling, if you're a Morphling to strength heavily enough. Those stuns just completely wrecked CsW apart, and this game is really quite a bit of back and forward, and bottom lane Dota, he's gonna go down to the Storm Spirit also.
CSW, they managed to get nice 3 kills in the mid lane, but they're getting picked off one by WaitZ. So pretty back and forth game if you actually ask me. If we take a look at the graphs really quickly, we're up to 13 minutes into the game. 2k gold lead by CSW. It used to be 5k, but unfortunately their lead has been dropping in favor of WaitZ. So that's EXP, that's not gold, that's EXP. Gold-wise, they are down to 5k rather than the 7.5k. So CSW, they had a bit of a lead, but they're kind of losing it to WaitZ just because of these really awkward, not really the awkward positions, but it's just they've been picked apart. They really haven't stuck together as a team. They've been trying to farm independently and trying to get their own goals together, whereas WaitZ, they've been working more as a team. They've been grouping up. They've been trying to go for these kills. But I think it's pretty much even for both teams for the moment. There's the Roar, though, onto our Storm Spirit. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is going to come in. There's a stun onto 343. That's going to be a very dead Lion. Now 2D though, he's by himself. Never mind, Wedding Crash is going to come in with the Scream as well. That's going to be the PA down. T-Lix, he's no mana. Never mind, he's going to be used up into the air though. Will they be able to get the kill? He threw... Oh, changed through a really, really weird raise at an illusion.
Oh, Chen still does get the kill. Oh, creeps chasing down that Morphling who I thought had escaped. So this time around, it's 3 kills going the way of CSW again. What's up with just 3 kills back and forth all the time? Of course, CSW, they will manage to turn it into so much more, getting a tier 2 tower down. Maybe after this tier 2 transition straight into Roshan as well, for example. Change after all does have that one point into presence of the Dark Lord now. And the one thing is that CSW, although yes they are similarly just numbered and killed, it's just probably their experience allowing them to farm a little bit more efficiently than WaitZ have so far.
Yeah, and also if you look at CSW's draft, they push so much quicker because they've got so many summons to really chew through the towers, whereas WaitZ, they don't really have that many heroes aside from maybe the Enchantress to help them push, but Enchantress, she hasn't been really focusing on getting her own creeps. She's been predominantly stealing the Chen's creeps this game. So Very, very low push potential for WaitZ unless their PA and their Storm Spirit get incredibly big, or if they go for a team wipe and go for a T1, because all of CSW's T1 towers are still alive. The lowest HP one is actually in the top lane, so it would be the easiest one for WaitZ to push if they really wanted to go for that, but I think they want to try and go for a successful team fight and then go for the potential tower push. Because they need to get towers eventually. They cannot leave these towers up for CSW because more towers means more map control. And more map control means that you can get around the map more quickly to help reinforce your teammates if necessary. But there is a smoke from CSW. They're going to send out the bird. There is a tornado though. Not too sure what that tornado is doing in all honesty. Is that Enchantress's tornado? Or is it just a random tornado? Oh, never mind. It's the Enchantress's tornado.
I think it's not the Enchantress, but... Oh, they get the Prime Aurora to lay, of course. Not the best target to just use a smoke gank on, but look at their position. Straight into tier 3 now. We even had one creep from the wave still. But it was the Phantom Assassin's Wild Wing just tornadoing things up.
Oh, it was just going through the trees. That was a bit strange. Maybe just to kill off the birds, but that's going to be a T3 tower down for WaitZ, and then they're going to have to TP everybody in to try and salvage these Raxes, because 17 minutes, if you lose Raxes this early, it's very hard to defend. That's going to be less gold going to your heroes, and actually Devacate going to blink forward. He's going to be net, and the creeps, they're doing so much damage! Finger of Death, that's going to be the PA down. T-Lick, so he's going to be locked down as well, and he's dead. They have buyback on those two heroes, but do you really want to use it? Morphling going to have to be forced to use his buyback. That's one set of Raxes. Sorry, that's one Rax down. That's the melee Rax as well. Chains, he's going to be jumped on by the Storm Spirit. There's the pull. He's going to be stunned up. Yules into the air. Shadow Fiend still alive. 2 down. Wedding Crash going to secure Storm Spirit and the Ancient Apparition. Enchantress, all she can do is sit behind her base and say, what do I do? Nice crit though coming from the PA, but that was a buyback and that was going to be a dieback. Not really worth it, in all honesty. But wait, they lose their one set of Raxes. They get 1 kill. They basically lose 6 heroes because they had to use 2 buybacks.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling buying back maybe not that big of a deal considering he really isn't required to be that hard carry in this game, but even then, like any buybacks this early into the game, plus being a Rax behind, it's just gonna hurt so much. WaitZ, they don't really have the greatest lineup even in dealing with any kind of mega creeps coming into their base. I think best opportunities like either a Maelstrom or maybe a Battle Fury on Phantom Assassin. Battle Fury, of course, easy creep waves all of a sudden, but just being forced to be on this bottom lane means that mid lane tier 2, top lane tier 2 CSW, they're gonna have such an easy time pushing those down. And after that, CSW, they can once again just try to look for just a single pick off, get that one, and then get another set of racks on top of it.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that was such an early Raxing from WaitZ, so a lot of pressure on them already, but CSW, they're doing the right thing. They have the draft for it. They've got so much push, and when they have the opportunity, just go for it. It's definitely going to pay off for them because that means that it's going to be a massive disadvantage for WaitZ, but CSW, they're going to farm up a little bit more. Chains did secure that BKB, so that's going to be some magic immunity for him. So Storm, even though he's going to try and go for a zip and pull, so long as Chains is quick with his reactions, that BKB means that nothing will hurt him aside from that PA. Any other big item pickups aside from that? We have Ags on 2D, we have Ags on Wedding Crash. My goodness, CSW, they're literally stacked with items, and we have Godot, who's very close to his Ags. He just needs about 1.7k gold, and that's going to be his Ags up and running, and we're going to see Ancient Creeps, but not yet. 1.7.
So, do you think the game is going to last long enough for us to see Ancient Creeps?
I would like to. I want to be positive, so I'm going to say we are going to see Ancient Creeps this game. Go be positive, Couchor.
I think if you're WaitZ, whoa. Did we mention that one? Did I zone out and not notice it? But Blade Mail Storm Spirit.
That's
that's a thing now.
New. That's very new.
I mean, it's not that bad considering you're up against Finger of Death, Requiem of Souls, and even Queen of Pain. It can definitely reflect quite a bit, but it's that like a comeback game-winning sort of item? I don't know.
Well, I think if you look at the intentions of a blade mail, why would you normally pick up a blade mail? It's basically for the fact that you feel that you are accumulating a lot of the incoming damage, so you want to try and turn it on the enemy. The only issue is if you look at the Storm Spirit, 853 HP. It's not a lot of HP to reflect, but actually T-Lix are going to throw the stun onto 2D, and they're just going to back up. They do not want to engage here. WaitZ is behind. They really do not need to engage down on the low ground. They're better off trying to fight on the high ground, but it's even going to be a very difficult battle for WaitZ, even when they're going to be on the high ground. CsW, they've got so many items. They're all incredibly tanky. They're not really easy to burst down either, because they do have the sustain from the Chen, but they've got to also rely on that Ancient Apparition Ice Blast to connect. This poor AA, he is really poor. He's sitting on about 500 gold, Tranquil Boots, 2 branches, and a circlet. He's no Ags for lay this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe if you can end... Does somebody have a streak? Oh, if he can get the kill on everybody...
And everybody...
then he's gonna be a hell of a lot closer to the Yag Interceptor, but... At the moment... The one thing I was totally thinking about something... Oh yeah! This game better not end before Morphling shows us what he's gonna turn that Robe of the Magi into. If it is an Oblivion staff, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that it's gonna be a Refresher or Morphling get double adaptive strike. But that's probably not gonna happen.
I would highly doubt any Morphling in their right mind to pick up a Refresher Orb for double adaptive strike.
It's better than Refresher Orb for double Hex because it lasts longer.
Well, I guess it does last longer, but think about it though. Even though Morphling throws the double adaptive strike, what source of damage does he have? He's hitting for about 49 damage per right click, so he's not really going to be doing much damage. I guess you could double waveform.
Double waveform, man, no joke.
Double waveform, no joke. But Morphling's got 520 mana. He won't even build all
double
4.
replicates.
You won't be able to afford anything, Couchor. There's going to be a replicate though. He's going to steal the Shadow Fiend. Actually, Finger of Death. Oh.
Oh, the hate.
Well, we're going to have some DS stakes, I guess, for tonight. That was a very quick death on the Enchantress. And she even has a point booster as well. Hard life for the dear lady.
So I think just once again, this one pickoff may be enough to go for a set of racks. I mean, as you can see, tier 3, nobody's even trying to defend it. Beastmaster also ready with the Blink and Aghanim Scepter Primal Roar, only 45 seconds cooldown. So I think this is just gonna be a set of racks. WaitZ, if they come and try to fight, they're probably just gonna lose it and maybe forced to tap out.
Yeah, I think they've got to do something though, because they can't just let CsW take their Raxes like this. They've got to try and find an opportunity, just find an opening, find a mistake that CsW does, and try to capitalize on some kills. So we'll see if they can find the opening though. CsW, they're staying pretty spread out in the backline so that they won't get caught out, but if you think about it, there's no real AoE on the side of WaitZ, but oh my goodness, Chain's doing tons of damage to T-Lixer, who's supposed to be their frontliner. There's the Adaptive Strike, there's a Zip Forward, but what's the Storm Spirit? Just gonna go for the TP. There's gonna be the Primal Roar though. They're gonna literally blow up the PA into nothing, and then Farewells, he's gonna be the next target. 2 down for WaitZ. They still have Lei trying to run away. This poor Ancient Apparition. He actually throws down the Chilling Touch onto his teammate's Wedding Crash. Just gonna sit in the base for a little bit, just stunned, but objective has been attained by CsW, and there's gonna be the GG call as well from WaitZ. They realize they just cannot combat this draft from CsW. They're losing their Raxes way too quickly. So congratulations to CsW. They're gonna move forward in the winners bracket, whereas WaitZ, they're gonna move down into the lower brackets to go for a couple of redemption kills.
Yeah, probably like looking at the team names, it's not all that surprising that CsW managed to win, but WaitZ, they had a couple of nice fights, managed to just get like 3 solid kills, maybe only lose 1, maybe lose 0 heroes themselves. But in the end, CsW, they just executed things better, I should have to say. Of course, draft was maybe a little bit more cohesive, just complementing each other. Whereas WaitZ, they just went for mostly strong individual heroes, but like I said, lacking AoE, for example. Can't really initiate all that well into a fight as well, apart from Storm Spirit jumping in, but the amount of lockdown and burst CsW had to just counter it a little bit too much. So, like I said, CsW advanced in the winner bracket, and with this game number 1 already over, was a rather short one, so we're gonna see if the next one is gonna start early or not. But it was scheduled to start in about 36 minutes. It will most likely depend on if the teams are ready or not, but in any case, we're gonna just keep the stream live, play some music. Feel free to request some songs as well if I can get it from Spotify. And, well, with this, just stay tuned and wait for the next game, which we don't even know what's it gonna be yet, but I think chances are that we're gonna follow CsW if we can.